Hi everybody, I'm Seamus.
I am Josh.
I'm Rootscar.
And I'm last. Chris. I'm Chris.
You're the last Chris.
I am the
of
last Chris.
You're like the last samurai, but
Wow,
other
Yeah,
it's been
so-
almost
also
as long since we
white.
last did an episode of Half-Life 2 as it's been between the release of Half-Life 2 and the release of Half-Life 2 Episode 1.
huh?
Wow.
It's almost like we planned it that way, but we didn't.
We did not plan it that way.
Yeah,
We did
so
not
start
plan
it,
that.
start it. I'm excited. I like doing these episodes because it's easy to talk about Half-Life, because we like Half-Life, and because there's so much to talk about.
Well, that's weird.
Yes.
We didn't plan for there to be such a huge gap between the two games. We finished Half-Life 2, and I think we were thinking, like, yeah, we could just keep on going with Episode 1, and then we didn't.
I think
You
here's
know
the
what
thing,
happened?
and this is kind of
Marlo
what I'm
Briggs.
excited to unpack. Yes, Marlo Briggs
Well,
happened.
Marlo Briggs was
But
like
here's
6 months ago, though.
Here's the thing I'm actually kind of excited to unpack, which is Half-Life 2 Episode 1, I think by general consensus, is the worst Valve-produced Half-Life game. And it's pretty good.
Yes! Yes, it is the worst, and it's still pretty good. It's definitely no... I enjoyed it when I played through it the first time, but looking back, it doesn't... It's short. Nothing really happens. The entire episode is just really moved from A to B, which I know the main game was that, but the main game did all this lore building and things happened in the plot, and you got to meet people. And this one, you don't meet anybody. There's nothing going on. It doesn't advance the Half-Life story. Literally, the entire episode is leave town.
So, does it count as Deus Ex Machina if the Deus in this equation were like already established as being weird, semi-godlike?
It's more like Xenos
Yes,
Ex Machina.
because they never come back.
It's a bunch of
and they're never
aliens.
explained.
That
I
was
do like
the
the
most...
scene of the G-Man
They do something
getting
with it in
chest.
Episode 2, don't they?
I think this is probably the messy... Well, for one thing, it's clear they had no plan. They had no idea. They had the
yeah.
game end on an explosion. They didn't know what they were going to do next. They're making it up as
I
they go
imagine if
along.
they had any plan, the plan was like, let's never explain what happens here and go to a different setting for Half-Life 3.
And then people wouldn't stand for that. And so they were like, oh, well, the magic space aliens just undo everything at the ending where it looked like you were going to be blown up with Alex. And instead you're at the bottom of the tower. Did the Vortigons teleport you and Alex into a pile of rubble? Or did they throw you off the tower? Like,
It
even
begs
above,
a lot
like
of
they
questions.
created... Yeah, they went to all the trouble to invent this ridiculous magic space magic, and then they didn't use it to solve all the problems in the story. So you still have no idea like what this is supposed to mean.
Yeah, and that's the other thing.
So,
is
how
that
you doing,
it
Marlene?
wouldn't be-
Sorry about
if you're
shooting
gonna
you that
create
one time.
mystery in a game, you should probably not create a mystery of why aren't they using the space magic to make everything else I do that's so hard and arduous and dangerous trivially easy.
Why did they not use this space magic to fight off the Zen dudes in the first place that had enslaved them?
And or just acknowledge it in the story. Oh, why aren't the Vortigons helping us now? They're so mysterious. I can never understand why they do and don't do things.
You know what almost works in this game? Almost, but not quite, is
Something weird is
the-
going on with the...
the ticking
No,
time
you
bomb.
break the boards. Wait, Josh,
No,
it's been a while since you played. Break the
No,
boards.
it's... Something weird is going on with, like, the movement. It feels really jittery. I don't know. That's weird.
Maybe
Also,
it's because you're recording
spoiler
at
warning
60
mistake
frames a second.
101, we should probably turn on the subtitles,
Subtleties.
where the hell they are. Where are they
Yeah, I've
actually?
had no idea what's going on so far.
And now, welcome to our episode of Find the Subtitles, because every game has a different idea of where those
Where the
belong.
fuck is it?
I'm gonna guess it's audio somewhere.
Is it? Oh, here we go. Captioning. Okay. Subtitles, dialogue only. There we go.
Subtleties.
Drop this stuff a little bit here. And then the mouse felt weird. Let's put that around.
Anyway, Chris, you're talking about the ticking time bomb, and I'd like you to go in with about that so I could vehemently disagree with you.
Well, I don't think it really
actually.
works, but I'll put it this way. It's hard to do a sort of plot-based ticking
that's
time bomb
actually
because in a plot, the time is whatever in the plot of a movie or something else, time is whatever you make it. But in a game, time is very much in the hand of the player, and it's hard to fake a ticking time bomb because it's like, you know, it's hard enough to do it in a film where it's like, okay, it's been 10 seconds, the bomb should have gone off. In this game, they actually handle it by sort of making it this abstract thing where it's like the building will explode the whole city at some point, so get out of the city. And it's a nice builder of tension without like actually giving you an hour to beat the DLC or whatever.
We got it.
Okay, so to clarify, I disagree that it almost works in that I think it actually works very well. I thought that they created that illusion, you know, about as well as you can at all.
You found Gordon? I don't believe it. But listen, you two have to...
Yeah.
But it is that weird thing where you're it's the weird thing because in a movie you feel the urgency, and in a video game you know full well you've got time to dick around on these boxes and smash shit with a crowbar.
Right, but they reinforce the chaos frequently through just environmental cues, and it creates an atmosphere of tension, even if it's not like, you know, you don't literally feel like the game is going to end if you don't move fast enough. It's an atmosphere.
If I can disagree with you a bit, I don't think the bomb is what makes the tension. I think it's their reaction to the bomb. If somebody just said, hey, that building's gonna blow up, you've got to get out of there, I think everybody in the audience would be like, oh, whatever. Yeah, I'm sure it's totally gonna blow up. I think it's everything to do with how these characters react to that information, and they are the ones that sell us on this urgency. And it's Alex's constant, we've got to get out of here, that makes it feel urgent and not the bomb itself.
I don't see any other way. It would help us evacuate more citizens.
No, you're absolutely right. I think you hit the nail on the head.
Okay.
These are such good characters.
Promise me
Really, they are great minimalistic characters. It's not like we know what Eli Vance does in his spare time, but they are great sketched characters. You know, just the equivalent of a couple of lines on a piece of paper that gives you this outline of a personality.
And you know how I think they sell that is that they're unlike this is just a straight up first person shooter. This game is not a great deep narrative or anything. But what lets the game sell its characters is that they're all defined by their relationships to each other instead of what they do. They're not functional characters. It's not the sergeant and the guy who gets shot and dies. It's Dog, who is the loyal, faithful robo-pet to Alex, who has a dad, and her dad has a friend who's also a scientist. And, you know, even like Green and Mossman are all defined in their relationship to everyone else in this universe, and I think that helps. It makes everything a little incestuous in a weird way, but it lets us care about the characters.
It does sort of feel like everybody that does anything in this world all knew each other. You know,
Oh man,
it's
it's
this
a
tiny
computer.
click
Plug
of
it in and
people.
play video games.
Yes, you know, I didn't think of it at the time, but those beige
Go, Alex.
boxes are very much out of style these days. And this is supposedly the future, and they've got this horrible old beige box computer.
Well, they got the old style cars too, so.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
It's
remember
like
what the
thing
galaxy
is,
or what
the world ended in the
galaxy
90s.
gun, what the gravity gun can actually do.
That's true.
Oh, it's
That's
been-
true. Their world ended in the 90s, so they've still got beige box computers. But they've got flat screens.
Well, you know, I mean, the Combine had to bring some technology along. So, I haven't played this game in like 4 years. This looks a hell of a lot worse than I remember it looking.
Really? I
before.
was just thinking, boy, this game still looks fantastic.
I mean, the
really-
textures are a lot lower resolution than I'm used to now.
Yeah, but
Okay,
I'm just...
Is what's sticking out to me.
I don't want to be pedantic, but the opening of Half-Life opens with the year 20XX, and Half-Life 2 apparently takes place in the 2020s.
Yeah.
There's a lot of arguments over when exactly Half-Life was and when exactly Half-Life 2 is and how long passed between Half-Life 1 and Half-Life 2.
Well, the first game evidently happened. Alien War or whatever evidently took place during the age of beige box computers. That's what we know. That's all we know. Like, that's all we can know.
Those existed up until like the early 2000s, and
technically they still
like
exist now. I think we've got one around here. I think one of my
those started
kids is
getting phased
using
out,
it.
my recollection.
Yeah.
What's gotten into you, huh? How exactly is this
What do you get if you want it? Like, do people like who aren't gamers buy desktop computers anymore?
Oh no. You're not serious.
Sometimes.
Laptops, I'll bet you it's all laptops.
Well,
I think workplaces probably buy desktop computers,
unless
but
you
I
have a
don't know.
better suggestion, he is a robot. He's done the math.
That seems like the sort of inertia thing a workplace would do, even though it makes not a whole lot of sense.
I like those little touches.
I want you to get out of here.
Yeah.
as
How
fast
expressive
Again, they're
dog
very
is.
good. Like they're very well characterized with very little actual, substance there. There's not like a long dialogue tree or anything.
I'll miss you too.
Yeah, I appreciate the economy. Like, and the voice actors just
Oh
pull
my
a lot
goodness,
of
this
shit.
is you
Like,
are totally. Yeah. Josh, you are so Blair Witch Project with the camera during these scenes. I don't know what you're doing.
Brace yourself.
It makes it feel like
Okay, dog. Let's do
Gordon
it.
Freeman has Parkinson's or something. Oh, this moment gets me every time. Dog nearly dropping the car.
Careful. Hold
I've
on.
done this.
Have you
I've
tried
done this
watching
scene.
this with the Oculus?
No, but I've done that scene a half dozen times, and every time it makes my heart
Good
stop.
throw, dog. Now go, boy. Go on. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. What now?
So we're not done with the ride yet, Alex. We gotta have our
Hold on.
Oh god.
a roller coaster.
Down below.
Insane.
This would be Puke City. This much motion. Especially this much spinning motion. It's not just forward or light breezy motion, but this much janking around. Oh. Goodbye, car. Man, that car served us well for those 12 seconds. Thank you, car.
Oh my god, I can't remember how to do any of the old stuff that I used to be. Here we go. Okay, I'm crouch jumping.
This is really coming apart.
Please. Oh my gosh. Hey, here's a moment from the dev commentary that I love. They talked about in the first game how they wanted to keep things urgent. So Alex would say, "Come on, Gordon. We got to get going. We got to get moving, Gordon. Come on, Gordon." And it made players hate her because they're
Press
looking
the
for
button,
secrets.
Gordon.
Yeah, the players are looking for secrets, and she's hurrying them on, and players came to hate Alex. And so the people at Valve were like, "Holy cow, that's really annoying. Let's stop that. In this game, she will patiently wait for you." Now, I credit to Valve for doing that. But it just makes me think, why hasn't anybody else figured this out? 2013, we are still, 2014 even, we were still running into games that did that had characters hurry you along while you're trying to enjoy the environment. It's like, hurry up and finish the video game, player. Hurry up, get on to the next level, stop looking at shit.
We don't have time to look for another.
So these were cool.
Why is Valve the only company to figure this out?
So I'll let Josh finish first.
Well, these were cool. These were, like, you kind of got glimpses of these things in Half-Life 2, but it wasn't really clear what they were. Now you can finally see them up close, and it's like, holy shit, they've been repurposing humans into, like, weird bio-robots.
I will say
with
this
laser beams coming out of their
Half-Life
heads because,
is
they're
the
evil
premier
overlords, and
series
they gotta have standards.
when it comes to showing us something, and then we get to see them up close, and it's really awesome. That is, like, Valve is the best company at delivering that experience.
You know, a lot of other companies would, like, yank the camera away and make us stare at it while somebody narrated the whole history of these things and what it's like to be one of them. And Valve is totally happy to leave it to the imagination.
I will say, though, that the Combine areas are the weakest areas, other than maybe Zen, of the whole Half-Life franchise. Like, this doesn't feel like a place. This doesn't feel like a place the Combine guys work, or a place anyone else would work. It is a big first-person puzzle.
Oh, shit.
It feels like a Portal level, is what it feels like.
You are very correct, Chris. It does not feel like a real place. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, what is this elevator for? Why is it here? Who used it? And for what? They have an elevator so that you can come down here to this recharge station and recharge your HEV suit or whatever. It's like, well, why is it down
and then
there?
pick up a mine.
I think that's the big problem with having a massive citadel is that, you know, what are you actually going to do with all that space in the citadel?
And it's on our side.
It's kind of like a DM when you draw the outline of a massive castle and they're like, shit, what's
It's good to
actually
know
gonna
that
go
you're
in
still
here?
made out of metal there.
Yeah. Yeah, you draw this massive outline of the dungeon, and then you're like, okay, this trap room, and then maybe a room where the floor is lava, and I'm out of ideas.
Okay.
It's like...
We can get through now.
So I was gonna say something a while ago, which was, I want this to sort of, the anecdote of Alex saying, come on, hurry up, to really sort of speak to game designers, but really just anybody who creates. Valve is a hugely artisanal studio who has curated the finest talent in the industry. They sit on their games and meditate on them like fucking, like, masters on a mountain somewhere.
Oh, shit. Fuck.
And they got all the way to playtesting, and they needed somebody to say, hey, this is really obnoxious, don't do this. Like, no matter how good you are at your job, you're still gonna fuck things up and not notice. And you need to listen to people and let them tell you that that is what you are doing.
Soldiers.
Another reason why
Why are
yearly
there
releases
only
are
railings
bad.
here somewhere and some places, and other places just don't have railings?
Another
There's
reason why you
no-
need slow playtesting.
There is no level of competence you can reach at a discipline in which you will not make mistakes that other people will be able to point out to you so you can fix them.
And if you don't allow for time for polish and for fixing those mistakes, you will make those mistakes, and then everybody will be like, oh man, that game was awesome, except for that one really irritating part in the middle. Oh my gosh, Carnival! What is this for? Who thought of this? This is the stupidest thing ever in a video game.
Yes, people will bitch about your game before you release it, or people will bitch about your game after you release it. You get to pick.
What are we doing?
Yes.
I mean, ideally it's one or the other, but
it's usually both, but
usually
could
it's
at
both.
least get rid of the... Yeah, but addressing the worst of the problems, some of the...
It's like rewind to 5 minutes ago when Rut said, this is the worst Half-Life game ever made.
So, I don't even know what we're supposed to do here. I forget.
Yeah, what the hell?
Do you want me to go get a guide?
You know, I will say that Half-Life levels like this are actually some of the best to be lost in. I really like the atmosphere and like the noises and the background.
Jump over the
and, like,
railing. Jump over the railing.
the rumbling and the quiet. Yeah, there's always
Okay,
texture.
so I see where I'm supposed to go now.
Thanks, Seamus.
That advice came from my son Isaac. And technically he was correct. Just, you know, not right there.
Hey guys, can you direct me to the subway? The subway that leads out of here. I'm hungry.
Eat fresh.
If you're hungry, don't go to a Subway, man.
I mean, I like Subway.
Subway's alright.
Subway's good. bit too much bread in the meal, but
Well, you gotta go with like flatbread.
There you go,
Yeah.
Josh.
Why is that the way out? This.
So he was actually correct. Do
Yeah.
jump over the railing.
yes, he was.
It's the way out, Chris, because there are several legitimate paths that you don't have clearance for. I actually kind of like this. It's like you're a rat in the walls, sort of. You're not actually going the correct... Like, you're not actually going any reasonable or logical path. You're sort of bullshitting this way by manipulating the geometry of the physics because you're not supposed to be here. Like, it's sort of non-linear... I like it when games let you use that kind of non-linear thinking.
And
it's
they
a
have this
linear
whole section-
path.
Yeah, and you do this whole thing and you don't crawl through any ductwork, which is actually kind of admirable.
Sure,
Do they
no, it's a
have
linear path.
ductwork here?
I guess that's why you don't crawl through it. If they ever had any ductwork ever, we would have been through it by now. You know what? I stand corrected. Earlier I said nothing is introduced, no new ideas or characters. I forgot about the advisors. They sure as hell are
Yeah.
What I mean,
introduced.
like,
It's
that
kinda
is-
like
it's a
how in
path that
Skyrim-
doesn't look like a path. It's a path that in the
It's kinda like
universe
how in
is not
Skyrim,
supposed to
how
be a
you-
path. Everybody discovers that you can get up a mountain by riding it diagonally on a horse. It's kind of like the game's made that an actual legitimate pathway of the game, and I don't know, I just kind of like that feeling of subverting. You know, like, obviously you're not subverting anything, you're doing exactly what you're supposed to, but your character is subverting something.
What the hell?
I also like that Dr. Breen swears just then.
Yeah.
It's interesting to sort of track Valve's use of profanity in video games. They seem to self-impose rules, generally speaking.
Wait. How did Breen survive the explosion?
He didn't. He
No,
didn't.
it's
That was a
recording.
recording. That was a recording of his
Oh,
dialogue
okay.
from the end of...
Although, it's long been speculated that maybe he did survive, but I guess if he did...
If he survived, he teleported to the other place, and that he would be...
and also they're gonna have to get another voice actor, unfortunately.
Right. Because remember, he was talking to them and he said, the other end of the portal was untenable. It can't be there. You know, it was unsuitable for humans. And then the advisors say something to him and he goes, a host body? You must be joking.
Yeah.
All right. So the plan was for him to be teleported probably into an advisor body. And then he can either be alive or not, according to the writers. Maybe he teleported and wound up in an advisor body, or maybe he died in the explosion. They could go either way and justify it either way. I'm sure that was their actual plan.
So here's the other weird thing that happens, which is that it gives you the super gravity gun again at the beginning of the episode.
And it takes it away
Which
from,
was-
like, you had it at the end of the game, then they take it away and then they immediately give it back. Why not just let you start with it? It doesn't, you wouldn't use it. So they had to contrive this way for it to become super again, and that was weird. And instead of seeming like a one-time accident, now it seems like something you could do whenever you wanted if you just figured out what that thing is. And it's like, why do you not always have a super gravity gun?
Yeah,
Again,
and
it's one of
it's
these-
also weird because this was like the most powerful godlike you got
Yes.
in the game.
Yeah,
And then
you
suddenly it's
start
like,
the game with
hey, here's this thing at the very start.
I know Portal was developed by another team, but this does feel very precursor to Portal E. The whole, the white and the
Yeah.
monochrome of it all, and the puzzles and the platforming and the nonsensical environments.